week to replace the ailing Sebastian Janikowski. Janikowski was hospitalized this week with a case of cellulitis, an infection in his left foot. He is here at the stadium today, but Daloiso will do the place kicking. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, we have glad you've joined us for this most important broadcast. We're underway from the 13-yard line. It's Chad Morton to the 30, to the 40, across the 45, and out to the 47 and 48-yard line. Mondrell Fulcher made the stop for the Raiders. 35-yard return to give Vinny Testaverde and the Jets some excellent position. Testaverde's numbers on the year: 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Well, a couple things Vinny Testaverde told us yesterday. The Jets, of course, want to run the football, but when they throw it, spread the Raiders out. 5 wide receivers, situations like that, he does not think they handle that very well.
Curtis Martin is the lone back behind Testaverde, who will throw on first down. Crabette to the 40-yard line of the Raiders, and that's enough for a first down, a 14-yard pickup.
Well, you look at the Jets' offensive line. Kevin Mawae, number 68, stressed to us yesterday, we are not a finesse offensive line, we are physical.
In the backfield, Martin along with Richie Anderson, Crabette and Coles the wide receivers, Anthony Beck is the tight end. There's the first-year coach, Herman Edwards. Says we're going to find out exactly today what we're all about. Quick pass to the far side, and that's complete to Lavernius Coles. Coles has a touchdown down the sideline. He has a touchdown. 40 yards and the touchdown.
Longest pass play maybe of the year, the New York Jets. But a screen to the outside of Lavernius Coles. Kerry Jenkins, 71, gets a good block on Elijah Alexander. And Eric Allen just gets caught inside, and Lavernius Coles showed you his speed and goes to the outside for the touchdown.
244 completions by Vinny Testaverde. That's his first of 40-plus yards this season.
That was their longest pass play of the year.
John Hall's kick is good. Not even a minute has expired in the first quarter, and the New York Jets lead the Raiders 7-0. World looking for the Jets to run the football here today. Vinny Testaverde comes out, throws 2 passes. The Jets go 54 yards. Lavernius Coles scores the touchdown, and New York is up 7-0. Terry Kirby is deep for the kick from John Hall. And Kirby from his own 8 to the 25 and out to the 30-yard line. A return of 21 yards, and onto the field will come Pro Bowl quarterback Rich Gannon, having an outstanding season. 26 touchdown passes and 9 picks.
Last week, Greg, we did the game, the Oakland Raiders in Denver. It was the best I've ever seen Rich Gannon throw the football. And we say this all the time, stats lie. He threw 2 interceptions in that game last week. I can't say either one was really his fault. He almost played a perfect game.
On first down, Charlie Garner straight ahead. And Garner darts out over the 35.
You look at the Raider offensive line, the left guard, Steve Wisniewski, making his 161st straight start for the Raiders.
In the backfield with Garner is John Ritchie, Tim Brown, and Jerry Rice, the wide receivers, and Roland Williams, the tight end. And there's John Gruden.
John Gruden stressed to us, and he stressed to his team this week, hey guys, be proud of where you're at. We've had a tremendous season, now let's finish it off.
The give is to Garner again, and Garner stops to the 38-yard line. Here's the defense. Sean Ellis, Burton, Steve Martin, and Pro Bowler John Abraham.
The linebackers for the Jets, they're all have an outstanding year.
In the secondary, the corners are Aaron Glenn and Marcus Coleman, Damian Robinson, and Victor Green, the starting safeties. And And we welcome those of you who've been watching the game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans. The Bengals winning at 23-21. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan here in Oakland, where the New York Jets took just 2 plays after the opening kickoff. Lavernius Coles, a 40-yard touchdown reception. The Jets lead at 7-0. Straight ahead is Zach Crockett looking for and appears to have a first down.
Got a good spot across the 40-yard line. You know, Greg, we talked to Herman Edwards yesterday. I said, what do you think this Raiders offense is going to do? And he says, they are going to run it right at us, of course. And he says, I expect them, which is not their personality, says, I expect them to throw the football down the field more against us than they've shown all year.
3 straight plays running the football, and now Gannon will throw. On first down, that's Garner out of the backfield to the 45 into the 46-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 4. One other thing that Herm Edwards told us is that one of the keys will be stopping the Raiders and Rich Gannon on first down.
Well, they got a couple things they want to do to Rich Gannon today. It's obvious passing situations, rush 3 defensive linemen, and then let somebody like Mo Lewis stand in front of him and move with him as he moves around the pocket, because that's where he really hurts you throwing the football. 5
wide receivers now for the Raiders on 2nd and 4. Quick by Gannon, and down he goes at the 38-yard line. John Abraham, the Pro Bowl defensive end, with his 13th sack of the season.
Well, John Abraham, when you play the New York Jets, you have to really pay attention to him rushing the passer. Barry Sims just slips. And I think everybody, when they see John Abraham for the first time, after a couple plays, they go, this guy is fast. I think he, if not the fastest defensive lineman in the league, he's one of the top 2 or 3.
Before the game, Armin Katayan told us the field looked a little slippery. And you saw Barry Sims, the left tackle, slip on that attempted block. Gannon throws. That's complete to Ritchie. And Ritchie approaching midfield, diving for first down yardage, appears to be about a yard shy. Pickup of 9 on the play, and it'll be 4th and 1. Let's go to Armin.
Greg, some kind of week here around for the Raider Nation began when defensive tackle Darrell Russell lost his appeal and was suspended for a year after testing positive for the drug ecstasy. Jerry Rice missed both Wednesday and Thursday practice, home with his ailing father in Mississippi. You mentioned Sebastian Janikowski out this week with that ailing foot. To top it all off, the Raiders did not practice on their home field all week. Back to you.
All right, Armin, that punt from Shane Lechler into the end zone. And it'll be a touchback. 51-yard punt by Lechler, and John Abraham going to the Pro Bowl, got himself a sack right off the bat here in Oakland.
The king of beer.
Back in Oakland, the Jets take over first down at their own 20-yard line. They lead by a score of 7-0. Curtis Martin gets his first touch of the day, tries the left side, out over the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Oakland defensive front, minus Darrell Russell, who's been suspended for a year. He's replaced at tackle by Rod Coleman.
Well, to stop Curtis Martin today, the linebackers for the Raiders, especially Greg Beaker, will have to have good days.
The corners, Charles Woodson and Eric Allen, Anthony Dorsett and Johnny Harris are the safeties. Five wide receivers for the Jets on 2nd and 7. The pass out here to Richie Anderson. Anderson across the 25 and out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
You know, Greg, one of the reasons why, just to finish this point, they want to go to 5 wide receivers. The Raiders have messed up the defensive formations in past games. In other words, sometimes they don't even cover one of the wide receivers. The Jets are hoping they'll make one of those mistakes and they can get a big play out of it.
We'll look at Grady Jackson, who centers that line now. With Darrell Russell gone, Curtis Martin, with his 3-yard pickup and his first carry, has now set a team rushing record for the New York Jets. Coming this way and diving toward the 30-yard line is Martin. Curtis Martin, with 38 career 100-yard games, has come into this action today the NFL's leading rusher, and he is in a dogfight with Kansas City's Priest Holmes. And Holmes going up against Seattle Seahawks. We'll keep you updated on the matchup between Martin and Holmes all day long. Martin came in leading the league with 1,455 yards. The pitch from Martin, cuts it back and picks up a couple out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. William Thomas, Rod Coleman make the stop after a 2-yard pickup. This is up to date. Curtis Martin with 1,470 yards on the season rushing. Priest Holmes at 1,439.
You know, a lot of ways to be a good running back in the National Football League. As you look at those two, kind of similar body types, same type of running style. They don't try to run over players. They try to run around them. Don't take a lot of punishment as a running back in this league.
Once again, the Jets spread the offense. Testaverde's going to go down. Jets had not given up a sack in their last 4 games.
Vinny Testaverde is sacked fewer times than any other quarterback in the league. But when you spread your offense out, the Raiders, Grady Jackson and Rod Coleman, number 57, their front 4 is big, and they can push the pocket as well as anybody.
Loss of 8 on the play gives the Jets now a 3rd and 16. See the numbers there on the efficiency of the Jet offensive line this season. Testaverde with time now pulls it down and takes off, and he goes down at the 23-yard line. Chris Cooper, the 6th-round draft pick, the rookie out of Nebraska, Omaha, corralled him. 2 plays, 2 sacks.
Well, you can always have a good thought coming into a football game, but the Raider defensive backs, Greg, we've done a couple of their games the last couple of weeks. They are as good as anybody in this league as far as managing a receiver and just giving the quarterback no window to throw the football. That time, everybody was covered for Vinny Testaverde.
Super kicks it away to Tim Brown. Wobbly kick, fair catch called for, and he's bumped into it at the 40-yard line. Jamie Henderson, the rookie out of Georgia, made contact before the ball arrived. And when all is said and done, it's going to be pretty good field position for the Raiders, who feel like they've grabbed a little of that momentum away from the New York Jets.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. 15-yard penalty, number 23, defense. First down.
So they'll walk it off against the New York Jets, and when we come back, Rich Gannon will be operating from much better position than he did earlier. Head coach Herman Edwards is most proud where his Jets are concerned, what they've done well this year, and sacks allowed and penalties. He pointed to those in our meeting with him last night, and 2 consecutive plays, the New York Jets did that. They allowed a sack, and then they committed a penalty.
That was a dream list we just looked at for an NFL coach to do that well in all those categories.
Gannon to throw on first down, over the middle, has his man, Charlie Garner. Garner inside the 30 to the 25-yard line, first down. 21 yards on the play.
Now, when I watch this Raiders offense, this is where I think they can really do big damage to the New York Jets. You're trying to stop the wide receivers down the field, and then what happens? Nobody is underneath the cover. Charlie Garner, the tight end, John Ritchie, people like that coming short across the line of scrimmage. And Rich Gannon is the best in the league at finding those short wide receivers or short receivers.
Garner, 18 catches his last 2 games today, and Tyrone Wheatley piling up the middle inside the 15-yard line and down to the 12.
What John Gruden says, I finally am going to get a chance to work Tyrone Wheatley back into our offense. And the big reason is the New York Jets don't cheat up front. They don't put extra people up to stop the run. And when you don't do that, now John Gruden can bring Tyrone Wheatley and says, well, we can run the football or throw a play-action pass now when he's in there.
Wheatley still in there. Ritchie ahead of him in the backfield. On first down, it's Wheatley again. And Wheatley this time gets tied up, barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Mo Lewis makes the stop after a 1-yard pickup.
Now, you know the Raiders missed Tyrone Wheatley when we talked to Tim Brown on Friday afternoon, and a wide receiver is talking about how we got to get Tyrone back in the offense. So everybody understands his importance to try to will your dominance physically over the other team, and to do that, the Raiders need Tyrone Wheatley in the backfield.
Terry Kirby has now come into the backfield along with Richie on 2nd and 9. Gannon over the middle, and that's complete to Kirby, and Kirby spins his way to about the 5-yard line. It'll be just short of the 5. We'll call it a 6-yard pickup, and the Raiders are looking at a 3rd and 3. There's Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets.
This has got to be Ted Cottrell's one of his more satisfying seasons, because the Jets, after 6 games, their defense was horrendous. He fixed it up. They did what these players do best, and they've played very well since then.
Double tight end now for the Raiders. Brown goes in motion. Gannon with time, throws it out here and falls incomplete. Randy Jordan fell on it. Looks like Rich Gannon had second thoughts about where he wanted to go with the football.
Well, that's John Gruden doesn't have any second. He hates the play, period. But we saw that last week against the Denver Broncos. Rich Gannon has the ability, as he's going to throw the football, thinks somebody's open, and right in mid-throw, just stop it. And that time the football just got away from him.
So Brad Daloiso comes on now to kick a field goal, what would be 22 yards.
Did you say kick it? Kick it, okay. Just checking.
They get 23 yards out of Shane Leckler's hold. The kick is up, and it is good. The penalty helps the Raiders on their drive. They end up 3 points on the board. It's a 7-3 Jet lead. See him, Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms, and the quick start by the New York Jets would seem to bode well for a team that has played very well on the road all season long.
Yeah, they have. There's 6-1 on the road, Greg, and I think the big thing for the New York Jets, Herman Edwards, he was crying to us yesterday, we cannot make any big plays on offense, and we saw their longest pass play of the year just a few minutes ago, 40 yards. That's hard to believe in this league. That would be your longest of the year.
Daloiso kicking it away. And from the 13-yard line, it's Morton to the 30. Spun around as he crossed the 30 and is down at about the 32 or 33-yard line after a 20-yard return. And we'll take another timeout and come right back to Oakland. 3:43 to play in the first. .com and read why Phil Simms says there's no such thing as backing into the playoffs. He says if you're in, you're in. Check it out at NFL.com or America Online. Keyword NFL.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings, they backed into the playoffs like you don't deserve it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think all ex-players would voice that same opinion.
Richie Anderson. And Anderson across the 35 to about the 7-yard line. Greg Biekert, the middle linebacker for the Raiders, making the stop after a 4-yard pickup.
Good job by the Raiders. Richie Anderson running the option. Watch him come down the line of scrimmage. Eric Allen stays outside on Curtis Martin and doesn't allow the Jets to get a big play out of it.
There's Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. 2nd and 6. Down at the 32-yard line is Richie Anderson, and Grady Jackson coming through to make the stop. A 5-yard loss on the play. It'll be 3rd and 11 when we get back, but let's check with Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Greg and Phil will try to keep you posted on all the playoff scenarios. Mini live here in this 4 o'clock hour. Mare with the field goal. Yes, it's good. Dolphins lead 3-0. Up at Seattle, no score is Ryan Lindell. Missed a field goal for the Seahawks. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. Miami looking for a win to clinch a home game in the playoffs next week. Testaverde throws back the other way. Curtis Martin. Martin dodges one tackler, leaps over another, but is brought down at about the 32-yard line by Anthony Dorsett.
The Oakland Raiders defense got a lot of emotion in what they're doing up front. Right now, they're almost overpowering the Jets' offensive line, and you can see the speed of the secondary as they come up and make the tackle on Curtis Martin.
Charles Woodson is now deep to receive the kick for the Raiders. This will be Woodson at the 20. To the 30 and down at the 32-yard line. 47-yard kick, 13-yard return, and tonight on the CBS Sunday Movie, when it comes to being a master thief, it takes one to catch one. Ving Rhames, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Sean Connery star in the network premiere of Entrapment tonight on CBS. Not many incompletions between these two quarterbacks so far here in the first quarter.
Well, two real good throwers of the football. Rich Gannon, the master, throwing it underneath. Vinny Testaverde, the arm strength to really do anything he wants with the football during the game.
Garner and Ritchie in the backfield as Gannon goes to work from his own 32. This is Garner. And no room outside. Loss of one on the play. James Farrior, according to the numbers, the leading tackler in the NFL with 170 of them coming into the action. And boy, what a turnaround his career has taken this season in New York.
Well, being healthy always helps a player, especially when you're a linebacker. But the style of defense they play, somewhat of the same style the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. Derek Brooks down there makes all the tackles. James Farrior, same position here. A lot of the plays are pushed towards him, and he's done a good job making the tackle.
Give this to Garner straight ahead, and Garner dancing his way out across the 35.
You know, as you watch the Raiders today, we talked about it. They'd like to run the football more. They want to be a little more patient. But look, there's John Gruden calling the plays. All year long, they've been a pretty aggressive throwing football team. Can you, in the 16th game of the season, say, okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to try to be a power running team and all that? I don't think so. I think the Raiders are going to win this football game today, if they do, by throwing the football with Rich Gannon.
Gannon the throw on 3rd and 6 on the blitz. The pass is complete across midfield to Jerry Rice. And a first down, 16-yard pickup, and a fine grab by Rice.
Nothing you can do if you're a defense in a play like this. It's just the only place that Rich Gannon can throw it, and a terrific catch by Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice makes the catch, making a reception in 241 consecutive games. Second quarter coming up. Turned it around as we start the second quarter. The Raiders first down at the Jets 48 line. 7-3 New York. Gannon, quick drop and quick pass, and that's complete close to the 40-yard line. Number 80, Jerry Rice.
Well, the Raiders, so many formations, so much movement, and Rich Gannon, this time he could have picked from about 3 or 4 receivers who were open down the field. And Jerry Rice has come in, learned a new system, and does a good job. Watch him as he goes down the field. Nobody there, sit down, Rich Gannon will find him.
Nice little 7-yard pickup, 2nd and 3. And Garner bursting through on the left side for a first down, and Victor Green makes the stop. You were just talking a moment ago about the pressures on the Raiders to try to run the football, but Rich Gannon started the day against Denver last week with 18 completions and 18 throws, and the question is, if you do it so well, why do you have to try to run the ball more?
Yeah, that's why I say, Greg, I don't think you take the football out of the hands of a quarterback who's played so well and is throwing the football extremely well. John Gruden knows that, so they're not going to just line up and try to run it down the Jets' throat all day. They're going to keep doing this.
Gannon pump fake, pulls it down, throws to the far side, and that's complete to Jerry Porter. And Porter inside the Jet 20 to about the 18-yard line, and that's good for another Oakland first down.
I've seen so many of these plays. This is why you don't take it out of the quarterback's hands. They were trying to go for the big score. He looked outside, there's double moves. The Jets are not fooled by it. He keeps looking, good protection. Then he finds what you would call the outlet receiver.
Something there, too, to watch. John Gruden was saying it's been a big beacon whenever Tyrone Wheatley was in the ball game. They Everybody expected the Raiders to run the football. They threw it with Wheatley in the backfield there.
Good call, Greg. That's exactly right. That's one of the reasons why he can't get Tyrone into the game.
The pitch to Garner. Garner turns the corner inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Damian Robinson knocked him out of bounds, but not before. It appears to be another first down. It'll be first and goal.
Well, when you watch football in the league this year, you see more and more special plays. I call this a special play. What you do is you take advantage of a defense or a player who's over pursuing or working too hard, and that time that allows Charlie Garner to get out to the outside.
We're going to have a measurement on the near side of the field as you look at Charlie Garner's numbers.
Now, you know, also we talk about the Raiders trying to run the football and all that. John Gruden, of course, I brought the question up to him Friday and immediately gave me that look that he gives a lot of people, and he says, I'm so sick of answering this question. He goes, I went to the supermarket the other night. In the supermarket, and some boy walks up to me and says, Coach, you need to run the ball more. He didn't tell us his answer to the
No, he didn't, did he?
But look, you look at the rushing yards for the Raiders, but when you watch this Raider team play, they move the ball, and even Herm Edwards agreed yesterday, they execute as many or more plays than anybody in the league on offense correctly. The problem is they're like the Jets. Nobody's taking that 10 or 15-yard throw and making it a 30 or 40-yard run after the catch.
That dot came up just inches short of a first down, so it is second and inches. Gannon going to give it to Garner. Garner has a first down to about the 5, just inside the 5, and now it'll be first and goal for the Raiders.
Now let's see. Once they get inside the 5-yard line, I think that means Charlie Garner come out, right? You know, he complains about that. I do the work down the field, and then they put in, you know, the bigger backs to run in the end once we get inside the 5-yard line.
Well, Wheatley and Crockett stay on the sideline. Garner is in the backfield.
It makes me think it could be a pass.
Tim Brown in motion. Garner gets the handoff, and Garner to about the 3. Shane Burton made the stop, and it'll be second and goal. And here comes Tyrone Wheatley.
Well, if you're changing up, just because Charlie Garner stayed in the game, it made me think pass. The Jets were not fooled, so they do the opposite this time. Do you bring in Wheatley and fake it to him and throw it?
The Raiders have not had a rushing touchdown in the last 3 games. Wheatley straight ahead into the end zone for the touchdown.
No deception there. That's just a big, solid offensive line with the big running back behind him.
And, you know, John Gruden was happy to tick off the problems that the Raiders have had on that offensive line this year when you point to the lack of a running game.
A lot of injuries up front, a lot of substitution because some linemen are out, but still they do a terrific job. And Tyrone Wheatley, fresh legs, takes it in for the touchdown.
Daloiso's kick off the upright and no good. So the substitute for Sebastian Janikowski fails to convert the extra point. Oakland's lead is 2 at 9-7. Kicker Sebastian Janikowski spent part of this week in the hospital nursing the case of cellulitis in his left foot. John Gruden told us it looked pretty bad. It was swollen, and pink, and raw.
John Gruden's still trying to figure out what cellulitis is.
Daloiso's kick picked up by Lamont Jordan, and Jordan to the 30, 35, and out to the 40, and another terrific special teams return by the New York Jets of 21 yards. Let's go down to Armin.
Greg, interestingly enough, I spoke to Sebastian before the game, and he told me, quote unquote, I am fine and I'm ready to kick. And in fact, he had worked out before the game and felt great, but he also told me he was not supposed to talk about it, but he could have been activated for this game if the Raiders had chosen to do so. Back to you.
That makes the people happy.
Basically, Armin just turned him out, didn't he? Testaverde and the Jets go to work at the 40-yard line, and Vinny to throw. Down the seam, and oh, what a catch by Wayne Chrebet.
That might be the best catch I've seen all year in the games I've done. When it went out of Vinny Testaverde's hands, pressure on him. He knows he has to get rid of it quick. Knocks it back to himself, left hand to his right hand. What a play by Wayne Chrebet.
25-yard pickup and a first down for the Jets. And the more Vinny Testaverde completes passes, maybe the better the feeling is for the Jets and their fans after the controversy of the week gone by involving Testaverde and offensive coordinator Paul Hackett. On first down, Testaverde to throw. Over the middle. Incomplete, intended for Chrebet. Testaverde's first incomplete pass of the day, and we'll check with Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, thank you, Greg. And an update up Seattle way. Seahawks threatening Dilfer. It's tipped at the line, and Marcus Patton picks it off for the Chiefs. Still scoreless. Each side's missed a field goal try. Let's back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, is that the quarterback's worst nightmare? Just the ball that is tipped at the line as it leaves your hand?
Well, you saw Trent Dilfer's reaction. It must have been a touchdown, wide open. Doesn't get it because of the deflection. 2nd and 10. Will screen Martin looking for running room and gets to the 30-yard line. Rod Coleman makes a stop, and now what's happening with the Miami Dolphins? Back to Jim Nantz.
All right, with the Dolphins in front 3-0, Greg Mare out for another field goal try. This one a 49-yard attempt, and it's short. Still 3-0 Dolphins. Again, Dolphins with a win. Get a home game next week in the wild card round. Let's go back to you.
Boy, sometimes at crunch time, big plays and points on the scoreboard are tough to come by, aren't they? 5 wide receivers for the Jets on 3rd and 5. Movement up front. Let's see where the officials lay the blame.
Prior to the snap, false start, head bob of the quarterback, number 16. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd and 10. Testaverde trying to draw the defense off. Did a little too much, says referee Bill.
Well, you don't see it called too often. Let's watch Vinny Testaverde. Oh, boy.
I saw no head bob there. A little shoulder shrug, maybe.
Getting a little tight with the calls today. That is a Vinny Testaverde. Look at his stats here, but that's a big play for the Jets. 3rd and 5 against 3rd and 10.
Four-man rush. Testaverde starting to run out of time and then throw to the far side. Incomplete. Intended for Lavernius Cole, who was near the first down marker, but he couldn't hold on.
Couple things you see is when the Raiders, I told you they do have excellent cover people down the field, but the size of their defensive line is making the Jets, the offensive linemen, go backwards faster than I've seen them go back this year, and it's causing Testaverde a few problems.
Raiders doing a pretty good job on the front four, considering Darrell Russell is gone for a year. Tupa aiming for the corner. And a fair catch called for and made at the 15-yard line by Tim Brown. 20-yard punt, no return. Raiders go on the offensive right after this. Welcome back. 9:01 to play here in the first half. As you see the numbers on Rich Gannon, the number of pass attempts, and maybe that's what happens when you add a Jerry Rice to your offensive firepower. Here's attempt number 520 to the far side, and that's complete and out of bounds for Charlie Garner. At the 21-yard line, a 7-yard gain, and it's 2nd and 3.
Boy, you hear that every time we do a Raiders game. The opposing coach, Charlie Garner's name always comes up because he is a pretty good runner with the football, but I think he's more dangerous coming out of the backfield as a pass receiver, and you saw the terrific catch on the last play.
Charlie Garner, 3 catches for 34 yards. This time on the ground, Garner busts through the right side out across the 30 to the 33-yard line and a first down. What's happening with those Miami Dolphins? Once again, Jim Nantz in New York.
Greg, the Miami Dolphins are in the end zone for the first time today. Lamar Smith, he has struggled of late, but 6 yards, he moves the pile, and the PAT makes it 10-0 Miami, second quarter. Back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. Oakland with a 9-7 lead here, coming up on 8 minutes to play in the first half. And you see that improvement in the Raider running game after a season low, 51 rushing yards against Denver a week ago. And they'll go on the ground again. And Tyrone Wheatley to the 37, maybe the 38-yard line.
Well, when you want to have a successful offense, a lot of people have to do a lot of dirty work. Watch the fullback, number 40, John Ritchie. Goes to the outside, takes down Mo Lewis, and lets Tyrone Wheatley get up in there for a few extra yards. And the play before, John Ritchie went head-on with James Ferrier, knocked him out of the way, and let Charlie Garner get some extra yards too. So Ritchie, he says, I know my role. I get in the huddle. I stand there with the Hall of Famers, Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. I know I'm a blocker, and he does it very well.
Gannon to throw. Far side of the field and comes up short of his intended receiver, the tight end Roland Williams.
Well, that football, it was either hit or slipped out of his hand. I could not tell.
Well, it's, you know, we're keeping an eye on Gannon and we're keeping an eye on Gruden, and it's a little early for them to start getting after each other.
I think it just, what happened is that he thought Lincoln Kennedy was going to run into him, so he tried to shorten up his motion real quick and throw it, and he just couldn't get enough power on the football.
Gannon now 8 out of 10 for 91 yards. Randy Jordan alone back behind Gannon here on 3rd and 5. Over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Jerry Rice. Marcus Coleman closed on the football.
Wow, the Raiders felt like last week they had some plays where there should have been some pass interference called. Jerry Rice to the top of the screen. Watch number 42. Contact before the football got there. But it happens so fast and it's so close that I think sometimes it's hard for the official to really see that it is a penalty.
Santana Moss is deep for this kick from Leckler. And Moss from his own 5 to the 20. And almost broke through at the 25-yard line. Travian Smith made the tackle. 58-yard punt and a 22-yard return. Jets ball when we come back. He and Jerry have scores, highlights, and the latest playoff update all coming up on the Nextel halftime report. 7:04 play in the first half. From the Jet 27, Curtis Martin. Martin spinning across the 30, across the 35, and very close to a New York first down.
You know, I like that better. I like it when the Jets just line up and run right at the Raiders, because every time they've tried to get Curtis Martin outside, the Raiders' speed in their pursuit is beating the New York Jets. But that time, Paul Hackett, the field's a little slippery. Curtis Martin not making those sharp cuts, go right at him. And remember, Darrell Russell, big fella's not in there this week.
Although Rod Coleman has filled in admirably so far here this afternoon.
Yeah, so far he's playing well.
2nd and 1. Martin again. Martin right side, first down and more across the 45 and out to the 50-yard line. 14 yards. What's happening with Kansas City, Seattle? Once again, Jim Nantz.
All right, Seattle strikes first. Greg, it's Darrell Jackson from Dilfer. Jackson scored twice last week. 12-yard reception this time, 7-0. Seattle trying to do its part. Needs the Jets or the Ravens to lose also. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, well, we say it every week as you look at the numbers on Curtis Martin. We say it every week. Trent Dilfer continues to just go out and do the job well. From midfield, first down.
Oh, what a good job by Wayne Corbett.
Pass out here to Anderson. Anderson cuts it back inside to the 46-yard line. A pickup of about 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Saved it. Wayne Corbett that time was coming across in motion. He saw that the running back moved, so he stopped for that 1 second. Let everybody reset. Comes out. Instead of the Jets having a 1st and a 15, they have 2nd and 6. Because the quarterback, he can't see behind him. He does not know that Curtis Martin has moved.
You told me quarterbacks have eyes in the back of their heads. Martin following Anderson around the right side, dragged down just inside the 45-yard line by Greg Biekert.
You know, so far the Jets not getting much done to the outside when they run the football. Greg Biekert coming from the inside, good pursuit angle, and makes the tackle. And, you know, we talked to Kevin Mawae, the center for the New York Jets, and he made a big point of the fact that Darrell Russell was not going to be in there. He thought Darrell Russell inside on that defensive line is a very disruptive force. Him being out, they should run it up inside.
3rd and 5. Testaverde steps up, throws, tipped and incomplete. Intended for Santana Moss.
Well, this is just Vinny Testaverde as he steps up. He loses control. Oh, at the last second, that's what happens. At the last second, he's throwing down the field, tries to change his thought process. That's why he was off target.
So Tim Brown back around his own 10-yard line for the kick from Tom Tupa. High floater, fair catch called for and made by Brown at his own 12-yard line. We have 4:12 to play in the first half. 12 seconds to play in the first half here in Oakland. The Raiders with a 9-7 lead on the New York Jets. And Gannon and company go back to work from their own 12-yard line. It'll be Charlie Garner and 4 wide receivers. Gannon with the screen for Garner. And Garner is down at his own 9-yard line. James Reed crashing the play for a loss of 3.
James Reed, but Mo Lewis, number 57, he just ruined it all. Charlie Garner just happened to, at the last second, make a good move to get out of the way, or he gets steamrolled. You know, again, what did John Gruden say? Hey, you got number 57. He can do it all. And Mo Lewis is he is absolutely a quiet star in the league. Doesn't speak a lot, doesn't get the publicity he deserves, but he is a tremendous player on the field.
2nd and 13, get to Garner, and Garner across the 10. You know, Gannon also was a newsmaker this week, saying a few things after the loss at Denver. And when we talked to him on Friday, he said, well, you know, I've been around this league for 15 years, and I'm entitled to say what I think every once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. Occasionally he says, I'm allowed to speak up, and he didn't like some of the... What bothers Rich Gannon when players make mistakes on the field that he thinks they should not make, because if they're paying attention in meetings and in practice, they'd be smart on the field. So that's what really bothers him most about some of the mistakes.
3rd and 10. Gannon has it batted at the line, and it falls incomplete.
But you know, Greg, we sit up here and, you know, you think about the game, and just like you say, well, last week the Raiders couldn't run the ball and they didn't commit to it. Well, the Denver Broncos had 9 people up there to stop the run. They had to throw it. And the same thing goes for this New York Jets defense. When you talk about it, the statistics are not very good, but those statistics lie because the last 9 weeks they have been pretty good on defense, and we're seeing it today too.
Jets looking for a big return here from Santana Moss. Blocked! The Jets pick it up and score the touchdown.
Well, Herman Edwards said we need some big plays. First is Lavernius Coles, who gets the touchdown on a screenplay, and that time Jason Glenn, a backup linebacker, recovers the block punt for a touchdown. Chris Hayes, number 30, the special team star of the New York Jets, gets the block. And Jason Glenn, the brother to Aaron Glenn, makes the recovery for a touchdown.
Defense has scored some big touchdowns for the Jets this year. Mo Lewis returned a fumble for a touchdown, as did John Abraham. There have been a couple of interception returns, and now the blocked punt, the 4-yard return by the rookie Jason Glenn, and the New York Jets celebrate on the sideline. They've taken the lead 14-9.
Gets the block of the punt, but if he doesn't, the second man through is also going to get the block. So the Jets definitely saw a weakness in the protection of the Oakland Raiders and took advantage of it.
That second man through was Jamie Henderson, and you're right, he had about as good an angle as did Chris Hayes.
Special teams have been awesome so far for the New York Jets.
2 yards deep in the end zone, Terry Kirby runs it out to the 15. And doesn't reach the 20-yard line. He is down at about the 18 or 19-yard line. 21-yard return, and coming Tuesday, January the 15th, here on CBS.
You know, Greg, the way the Jets lost the game last week, and you think they're going to be down and all that, but Herman Edwards, such a positive guy, came in the week and says, man, every day's a good day. Everything is good in life, and he just tried to stress to his team the opportunities were all still in front of them, and don't get down because of what happened last week.
Gannon over the middle of Tim Brown, and Tim Brown out to about the 26-yard line. You know, we were talking about the things that Rich Gannon was saying this week, and one of the things he told us is he especially tries to communicate with the younger guys on the team, because this is the time of the year that they tend to get tired, lose focus. So some of them just want to go home.
Oh, it's a long year. That's right. They just want to go home and rest up.
That pass incomplete, intended for Garner over the middle.
And it is true, Greg. You know, the season, look, all these teams, both of these teams went to training camp in July. 4 preseason games. All that goes on during the regular season, it is physically and maybe even more mentally just taxing on everybody. And when you get late in the year, some guys are just like, wow, even though the team is winning, I just want it to end so I can go home and just relax for a while.
And what Gannon said is these younger players don't realize these opportunities don't come around as often as you think they might.
Might not ever do it again.
That pass tipped at the line and falls incomplete.
That was Steve Martin, number 91. But the Jets are very good at knocking down passes at the line of scrimmage. Shane Burton, one of the best in the league. This time, Steve Martin. Besides John Abraham, maybe not a really good front four for rushing a quarterback, but they make up for it by knocking down the pass.
So Santana Moss back for the punt now from Leckler. Heckler booms one high out of there. Santana Moss from the 20. Penalty marker is down as Moss goes down at about the 29-yard line. And there's a man illegally downfield. And you'd have to figure the Jets are going to ask the Raiders to kick this one.
Well, the way they're returning kicks, I would.
Ineligible man downfield, number 55 on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
First penalty of the day against the Raiders.
And this is the way, you know, again, we've talked about trying to get big plays for your football team, the special teams play, the block punt, the screen. But Herman Edwards says, and they know what can change this football team for the Jets, Santana Moss, when he gets his hands on it with open field and space, a hard man to tackle.
We've come to the 2-minute warning, so we'll take a break before the re-kick, and we'll be right back. Tell halftime report. Jim Nantz, Mike Ditka, Randy Cross, Jerry Glanville, scores, highlights, the latest playoff update, all coming up on the next Tell halftime report. You like the music here, Phil?
I hate it.
You would.
Does that really, like, did my feelings come out there?
No.
How much I do not like the music here? Oh.
Leckler, line drive, and Moss drifts back to his 24. To the 35 and up to the 39-yard line. 55-yard kick and a 15-yard return, and now Testaverde with 7 out of 10.
You agree with this? So the players, they know how to handle it. Of course, the coaches can too. I'll say the rest here in a second.
Testaverde to throw. That intercepted inside the 45-yard line by Torrey James. James to the 30, out of bounds just inside the Jets 25-yard line, and that changes the entire complexion of the final minute and a half here in the first half.
Boy, does it ever. It looked like to me from sitting here that Vinny Testaverde was just a little unsure. As he throws the football, just doesn't let it go, and it looks like there was pressure on him on his right arm. Tony Bryant near Testaverde, I think that altered the throw, and Torrey James makes the easy interception.
Torrey James with his 5th interception of the season.
Boy, talk about who's going to win the game, what's going to happen. We didn't factor in turnovers enough, and we didn't factor in special teams. And
Jets had all the momentum going their own way, and now Charlie Garner up the middle, inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line before Sean Ellis drags him down.
Now, you know, we did all this talking about game plans and that too, Greg, for the Oakland Raiders. I think the Raiders now have to go back to running the football because Rich Gannon not quite getting the time he wants. Players around him, the defensive line knocking balls down, so they got to reestablish their physical presence up front.
On 2nd and 5, Gannon to throw. Goes for the end zone, wide open, touchdown, Roland Williams. $18 yards on the play. Gannon to Williams. Williams' 3rd touchdown catch of the season.
Now you think, why aren't the Raiders 1 for 2 here with a 1-point lead? John Gruden says he doesn't even look at that until the 4th quarter comes around.
Daloiso missed the last one, makes this one. 57 seconds to play, and it's a 16-14 Raider lead.
Well, I could not tell what happened. It's a play-action fake, and nobody covers the tight end, Roland Williams. It's not a blitz by the New York Jets, so whoever had Roland Williams in coverage completely fooled. Doesn't run down the field with him, and good job by Rich Gannon going through his progression and finding Roland Williams wide open for the touchdown.
That would be what you would call a missed assignment in the secondary.
Well, it wasn't a blitz, it wasn't man-to-man, so somebody didn't drop back in the zone coverage to see the tight end. But Greg, going back to it, Rich Gannon was on the sidelines trying to get a timeout before the extra point, and John Gruden pulled him off the field, said, no, we want to kick it and get the 1 point.
Yeah, we had that discussion with John Gruden. He said, whatever happened to those little cards that told you when you should go for 1, when you should go for 2? And John said, I don't even deal with that until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, he goes, it's not that difficult. He goes, I can figure it out, but you're right. I do not put that into, my judgment doesn't come into that until the 4th quarter when he thinks it's important.
Santana Moss and Chad Morton are deep as Daloiso tees it up.
The kickoffs have been extremely short from Brad Daloiso today. In fact, the Jet returners on the 15-yard line.
Low, bouncing. And Morton from the 12. And is buried at the 19-yard line. And a penalty marker is down.
This game, you think emotion's not part of the outcome of football games. You can see it swing, and it just gives players a physical lift, and they make plays they weren't making before.
This one will go against the Jets and back them up even more. Vinny Testaverde's interception turned into that touchdown, and Vinny's had some costly interceptions. The 21st of October against the Rams. Jets trailed by 7 in the first half. Aeneas Williams intercepted and returned for a touchdown. Then on the 28th against Carolina, 9 seconds left in the first half, Doug Evans interception. Against the Saints, Jay Bellamy picked him off. And then last week against Buffalo, Phil Hansen, with the game in the balance, picked off the pass. He is 7 of 11 with a touchdown pass and an interception.
Now, you know, Greg, every interception and every quarterback in this league is thrown costly interception.
Sure. 52 seconds to play. The Jets have 90 yards and all 3 of their timeouts ahead of them. Penalty marker flies. Number 91, Reagan Upshaw, was one of those across the line in a hurry.
And the Jets are backed up into this end zone where they're
Offside defense, number 91, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I think the noise is the loudest and hardest for an offense to communicate and get off the line of scrimmage.
And if we are to believe the clock, I'm going to say that running play took 1 second. It seemed unlikely. They're going to take 2 more seconds off the clock. Curtis Martin in motion as the Jets spread the field, throw it out to Martin, and it's incomplete off the fingertips.
Sure it does. You know, they put a lot of work and time into what they're doing, so players, as much as coaches, got to watch what they say.
Curtis Martin. And Martin out to the 20-yard line, and the clock continues to move. You know, you mentioned the quarterbacks, the costly interceptions, and
there, half-heart. Just go out and play the game and show everybody that it really means a lot to you to play well and to win.
time runs down here in the first half. Go down to Armin.
Coach, a couple of explosive plays give you the lead and momentum, and then that turnover.
Yeah, and that's what kills you in these games. It's a tight ball game. You know, we do a good job of blocking a punt, and we turn around and they intercept the ball, and then we don't play the coverage quite right on the pass. So it's a tight ball game, but we're in a football game, and all we have to do now is don't turn the ball over and make some plays the second half.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Greg.
Costly interception.
I think the thing that surprised me in the first half, both defensive lines doing a really good job and not let the other side dominate the pace of play.
Raiders get the ball first here in the second half. This is Terry Kirby on the run at the 11-yard line. To the 25, and is corralled at about the 26-yard line by James Darling, and we go down to Armin.
Greg, in talking to Coach Gruden, I said, you know, big plays both ways, and he smiled. My first smile in 4 years, by the way, and he said, you know what, we're due to win a few games like this one. We've been involved in so many tight games. We just need a few more big plays. Back to you.
All right, Armin.
How about that? It's the first smile Armin's gotten in how many years, but yeah, he's had some interesting conversations with Armin Battalion at halftimes out here.
Nick Ferguson was offside on the kickoff, so we're going to do it again. And, you know, as we come down to the end of the year, there are a lot of ball players and teams that are playing hurt. And, you know, you got to give Armin credit. Armin's out there playing hurt today.
Oh, our Armin Battalion this weekend, you know, he's limping around. You wouldn't even have shown up. I would have been whining all weekend about how my leg hurts, but Armin's been limping around. He was playing basketball with his daughter at home, and she took him to the basket, and Armin hurt his leg.
Threw down on him, and Armin just came limping away.
It's the truth. You know, oh, Armin, what did you do? How did you hurt your leg? And he goes, oh, I was playing basketball. Oh, yeah, with a group? What? Well, my daughter. She went around me. I couldn't adjust. So, Armin, good job, though. Way to hang in.
It wasn't against a local college varsity or anything. Well, girls took time out from a pajama party and did serious damage to Armin. Hall kicks it away from the 25-yard line. And Kirby feels the kick again at about the same position, and this time runs it out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. Darling and Victor Green make the stop, a 25-yard return. And here comes Rich Gannon.
Wow, interesting. The Jets made a nice adjustment. The biggest thing the Jets did, their defensive line just kind of got in place and made it hard for Rich Gannon to throw over them.
That's Torrey Woodbury, the rookie.
Third string quarterback, plays the special teams, does a really good job.
Outstanding athlete. In fact, we have heard and seen some of his exploits during practice as a wide receiver.
He is a superstar in practice, you know, imitating the other team's wide receivers, and we saw him making catches when we've gone out there, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably keep him at the quarterback position next year, but there could be a good way for him to stay on the team, of course, is to keep playing special teams.
Well, the intriguing thing, I'm sure, to Herman Edwards is that he's a wide receiver with some size.
Yeah, he is big. That's right. The Jets they absolutely do not have the tallest group of wide receivers in this league.
So Gannon and the Raiders go to work on first down. Tyrone Wheatley, the lone back. And Wheatley gets the call. Across the 35 to about the 36, where Marvin Jones helps make the stop after a 1-yard gain.
You know, Greg, this Jets defense, you've heard it many times, but they struggled for the first 6 weeks so much. But finally, what happened is the players talked about it, and even the coaches admitted to us, hey, let's quit teaching Ted Cottrell. I'm not going to teach him to be like the Buffalo Bills. Tony and Herman Edwards says, I'm not going to try to have them be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's do what's good for these players, and they found it, and they've executed it well.
Gannon gets rid of the ball, far side, Roland Williams, and he's run out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. That rushing defense of the New York Jets in the first 6 games, giving up almost 168 yards, down to 90 a game in the next 5 games, and the last 4. That's a roller coaster if you've ever seen one.
Yeah, the last 4 games they are getting run on, and even though last week they lost the game, they only gave up 14 points. Herman Edwards even said, hey, it was 14, but we shouldn't have given up that many to the Buffalo Bills. We should have won the game just with our defense.
3rd and 7. Gannon over the middle, wide open, Jerry Rice, 40, 30, and down at the 27-yard line by Aaron Glenn.
Greg, you talked about it. Jerry Rice was not even at practice Wednesday or Thursday, came in, learned the game plan in a day or two, and looked at the open hole. Good job by Tim Brown, not reaching up and knocking the football down. The Raiders have been trying to hit this in cut, this deep route across the middle about 4 times. Finally, they make the connection, and Jerry Rice gets some extra yards.
Jerry Rice's dad was ill. Rice felt he had to be there. Missed a couple of days practice. Big play there. Charlie Garner straight ahead. Marvin Jones wraps him up after a pickup of about a yard, and it's 2nd and.
Now, John Gruden is a coach. He doesn't like any player ever to miss 1 play in practice or anything, much less 2 days, but he knew when Jerry Rice missed the 2 days, he goes, I'm not worried. Jerry Rice even talked about it. He spent all the time with the coach on the blackboard. Went through actually his own little special practice with one of the coaches to go over all the adjustments and formations they use.
Terry Kirby is in the game, and his flank to the near side of the screen. Gannon pumps, throws. It is incomplete. Almost intercepted by Marcus Coleman. Well played by Coleman.
Marcus Coleman, that was just like throw the line. He was fishing. He had Rich Gannon fooled, and when see if we can see it. Rich Gannon trying to stick it in between Marcus Coleman and the safety. He thinks he's open, but Marcus Coleman, watching the quarterback the whole time, makes a terrific break on the football and drops it.
Incidentally, Torrey Woodbury suffered a pulled quad muscle. He will not return today. 3rd and 9. Gannon throws it up and incomplete. Jerry Rice was jammed at the line and couldn't get free, and onto the field will come Brad Aloiso in the field goal unit.
You can see the problems some of the Raiders are having in some of these plays, and the New York Jets, the linebackers and the defensive backfield, that group of 7 players, they have played very well, and they're tough just to throw the ball on up and down the field.
This will be a 44-yard attempt by Daloiso. On its way, long enough, straight enough. 3 points on the board for the Raiders. 12:07 to play in the 3rd quarter, 19-14, and Sebastian Janikowski says, way to go, Brad. Most people would think they're in big trouble, but for John Ritchie, it's just another day in playing the game of professional football. Short kick, and the Jets recover it at about the 45-yard line. Here's our NFL.com interactive poll for today. Who would you pick as this season's NFL MVP? Go on, cast your vote at NFL.com. So the line of scrimmage, the 45-yard line, as Jamie Henderson made the recovery.
Brad Daloiso's been kicking them so short. They're trying to squid kick, but it backfired. It hits a player, and the Jets get terrific field position.
Testaverde. That's complete. Coles out of bounds just across midfield and into Oakland territory. 6-yard pickup, and it's 2nd and 4.
Nice play to start out for the Jets and for the quarterback. Try to get him going again, thinking positive, and make the plays really clear cut. That's always an important factor for a quarterback when he's playing on the road against a good team that has good crowd noise.
2nd and 4. Curtis Martin straight ahead to the 46-yard line. Brady Jackson, Rod Coleman with the stop, and go to Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Greg and Phil, a block punt set up this touchdown pass for the Chiefs. Trent Green to Michael Ricks to put Kansas City on the board for the first time. And by the way, Jay Glazer is reporting now that George Seifert will be fired tomorrow as the Carolina head coach. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, that sounds like a Steve Spurrier story brewing in Carolina. We shall see. 3rd and 1, Lamont Jordan in the backfield. Jordan gets the handoff, has a first down and more to the 30, the 20, touchdown Jets. "46 yards, Lamont Jordan gets his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Short yardage situations, you cannot gamble and go for the loss in the backfield. The Raiders get out of position. A couple players over pursue. Look at Anthony Dorsett. He's the safety. You've got to stay back in case everybody misses the tackle up front. That time he didn't, and it allows Lamont Jordan to go for the long touchdown.
The longest run of Lamont Jordan's brief NFL career gives the Jets the lead. John Hall's extra point is good. Have you seen a game that's gone back and forth like this one has? The Jets out front, 21-19. Lamont Jordan scores on the 46-yard touchdown run. Jets have also scored on a pass play and on the return of a fumbled punt, or a block punt. Terry Kirby from the 2 to the 20 and across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
Well, look what happens when you're 3rd and short. The safeties for the Raiders. There's one safety, Anthony Dorsett in the back. Watch what happens. You know, when they say you're a safety, you got to be back behind the front 7 to protect them. Anthony Dorsett takes a tough angle and not able to make it up to tackle Lamont Jordan. Lamont Jordan, not a bad backup running back, huh?
And you know, after that touchdown run, we saw a little smile on the face of John Gruden. That wasn't a real smile.
No, I don't think he was happy. I think you read that right, Greg.
Cannon throws this way, Tim Brown. And Brown across the 30 to about the 31-yard line. Buffalo and Miami. Big game in the AFC. Here's Jim Nantz.
All right, and the Bills are on the board for the first time. Greg, the touchdown pass to Larry Centers. 13-7 Dolphins, 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. John Gruden looking over the charts. 2nd and 4 for Gannon and the Raiders. Garner, left side. Not going to turn the corner. It's run out of bounds. John Abraham and James Ferrier on that side of the field.
Well, John Abraham, Greg, we talked about it early in the game. Maybe the fastest guy on the outside defensive lineman in the National Football League. So it only makes sense. It's going to be hard to run outside when he's there. There he is, getting blocked by John Ritchie. Gets off the block and still forces Charlie Garner out of bounds.
And now we have a whistle, and looks like a timeout is called by the New York Jets. They use a timeout, stop the clock with 9:32 to play in the 3rd. In Oakland, these people are definitely a part of the game and a part of the atmosphere. 3rd and 4. Gannon over the middle. Tim Brown wide open. First down and more. Lost the football, but is blown dead back at the 46-yard line of the Jets, and it's a first down.
It's taken them a long time, but they finally got one of the Raider receivers going across the field. Aaron Glenn with Tim Brown has to fight his way through, and exactly what the Raiders hope that happens to your defense did that time. Aaron Glenn runs in to James Ferrier, not able to cover Tim Brown going across the field.
Phil, Tim Brown named to his 9th Pro Bowl, and you asked him how it felt, and he said, you know, you're 35 years old, it's your 14th season, it's hard not to feel gratified. Charlie Garner across the 40 to about the 38-yard line of the Jets.
You know, I want to go back to that last play, Greg. What did we talk to Ray Mickens yesterday about all the crossing routes from the Raider wide receivers? And I said, is it really that difficult to run across and cover these guys in situations like that? And he goes, oh, it's worse than that. He says, because you're not sure what route the Raider receivers are going to run. They could stop and come back, but he says, most of all, you got to fight through your own guys to get over there. We saw that Aaron Glenn getting picked off by James Ferrier.
Garner again, and Garner to the 30, inside the 30-yard line. That's another first down for the Raiders. Ferrier and Victor Green make the stop after an 8-yard pickup.
Well, that's where we're having success running this football, just straight ahead. Good job up in the middle. Frank Middleton, the right guard, and then John Ritchie again just gets in the way of Marvin Lewis, keeps him from making a tackle, and lets the running back pick up a few extra yards.
Charlie Garner with 99 total yards on the day. Garner and Ritchie, first down. Garner again. You know, some of that offensive line, we've talked about all the injuries that they've suffered, but Steve Wisniewski, the guard, 8-time Pro Bowler, probably making his final regular season game here, although John Gruden thinks he's going to talk him back into another year or two, but says he's going to call it quits after this season.
Well, yeah, that's right. Steve Wisniewski said it is over, and John Gruden says, well, we'll see. I think I can talk him back in to a couple more years. He didn't say one, he said a couple more.
Second-round draft pick out of Penn State back in 1989. Wisniewski has been one of the great ones here in Oakland. Gannon over the middle, wide open, Terry Kirby, and Kirby is down to the 16-yard line of the Jets. 9-yard pickup, and it's another Raider first down, and Ted Cottrell is looking for answers now.
Well, listen, there are no answers with 2nd and 5. You're a defense, and you just got to drop back almost and say, don't hurt us too bad, and you try to get it again, start over again on first down, and you got to make a play there. That's where you have to win against the Raiders on first down. It can become a predictable passing situation.
You saw the Raiders' success in the red zone. And Kirby inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
You know, I got to laugh. I just watched Tim Brown out there. He's always moving around, always in motion, and
he runs miles.
He does run miles, and I like what he said to you, too, the other day, Greg. He goes, you know, it's been a good career, 14 years, been to the Pro Bowl. He's done so many wonderful things, and he goes, but, man, Jerry Rice just keeps setting standards so high around here and everywhere in the National Football League. He says he just makes it too rough on all wide receivers, and Jerry Rice still playing well.
On 2nd and 8, Gannon throws far side, incomplete. Williams, intended receiver. I also thought when we said, you know, he said he hopes to play for another couple of years, and I said, will there be another couple of years of punt returning too? No,
Brown,
that won't be happening.
Smart guy. Even watching the game today, when we say he's back, almost for sure it's going to be a fair catch. When Charles Woodson is back returning the punt, he will not fair catch it. He's looking for the return.
Big third down play for the Jet defense here. 50th offensive play of the day for the Raiders. 10th play of this drive. And timeout is called by the Raiders. So each team has now used a timeout here in the second half. CBS Sports NFL playoff coverage begins with the AFC wildcard next Sunday. The action begins with the NFL today. At around last night and talked about it, we realized we could be in any one of about, what?
We could be everywhere, but as usual, when we sit around our at night, Greg, we have all the answers. We know who's going to win every game, and, you know, it's hilarious. We're going through all these scenarios, and finally I look at all of you and go, wait, we're trying to predict the outcome of 4 games. And you can't predict the outcome of 2 games in this league, much less 4, so.
We come to game day and we realize we know nothing.
Speak for yourself.
Gannon and the Raiders need the 6-yard line for a first down.
Now, you know, there they are. It's 21-19, the New York Jets. The fact that the Raiders did not go for that 2-point conversion could turn out to be big, that extra point.
Gannon On the run, pulls it down, slides down at about the 10-yard line. Mo Lewis covers him up, and onto the field will come the field goal unit.
Oh, just the guy that Herman Edwards wanted in the middle of the field. In case Rich Gannon coming up limping. In case he scrambled or moves in the pocket, he was hoping that Mo Lewis would be around. Nice job. Doesn't chase the receiver. Rich Gannon making a mistake. Should have thrown it to Terry Kirby.
So this is Daloiso from 28 yards. The kick is away, but he hooks it to the left, and it's no good. That kicking game coming up a little suspect for John Gruden and the Raiders today. The Jets hold the lead by 2. 4:56 to play in the third quarter, and the Jets dodge a bullet as Daloiso misses the field goal. Testaverde will throw on first down. With time, over the middle, incomplete. Richie Anderson, the intended receiver, and Anthony Dorsett was there with the cover, and the Raiders' special team has been a nightmare so far today. Brad Daloiso's extra point attempt off the upright. Shane Leckler's punt blocked and returned for a touchdown by Jason Glenn. And the field goal just a few moments ago by Daloiso, hooked to the left. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, as you look at Rich Gannon, Chad Morton had a 33-yard kickoff return before the first touchdown. They blocked the punt, and twice Tom Tupa has pinned the Raiders inside their 20-yard line. Curtis Martin across the 20 to the 21-yard line.
And Greg, don't forget Brad Daloiso's short kickoff that led to Lamont Jordan's touchdown run, and Rich Gannon came up limping on the last play when the Raiders were in on offense. Watch his right leg as he goes down. It goes up in the air and hits the body of Mo Lewis. But he's on the sideline. Looks like he's fine. Looking at the photos of the defense, ready to come back in.
3rd and 9. Testaverde over the middle, wide open to Coles. Coles to the 40. Midfield. And out of bounds inside the 45-yard line, pushed out by Tony James after a 36-yard gain.
Well, the New York Jets, they came into this game today of only 8 runs of over 25 yards and 17 passes the whole season. Lavernius Coles just runs away from Eric Allen. No help from the inside, and does a good job of getting extra yards after the catch. But Herman Edwards, Greg, talked about it. No big plays from this football team, and we're seeing a lot of them today.
A huge 3rd down pickup. The Jets are at the Oakland 42. Curtis Martin lost yardage on that play. Grady Jackson, number 90. Coming right up the middle, a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
Well, Grady Jackson, such a good athlete. Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator, but he's so big, you can look at him, and even though he has this body, and I know what you're thinking, no, he can't be that good of an athlete, moves very well. And
against the offense, number 67 did not report as eligible. He was on the end of the line.
Well, this is going to back the Jets up.
Sorry, I was too busy talking about.
The penalty will be declined. 2nd down.
Not going to back the Jets up.
But just going back to Grady Jackson, though, we have talked to him this year, and it's hard to believe, but he says not only can he can dunk two-handed, standing under the basket. So that tells you a lot of explosion for a big, heavy man.
And he's too big to argue with. You just say, okay, Grady.
Loves basketball.
Jets spread the field. 2nd and 12. Quick pass, almost intercepted by Biekert. Rod Coleman and Greg Biekert almost combined for the interception.
William Thomas, number 59, on the blitz, gets to Testaverde, and sometimes when you're a quarterback with his size and they take such pride in not getting sacked, you take chances with the football. Testaverde trying to avoid the sack, throws in coverage, and boy, if Greg Biekert can hold on, it might have been a touchdown.
Wayne Corbett pulled up short. on the pass across the middle. 3rd and 12. Testaverde on the roll, throws, intercepted. Marquez Pope. Pope still on his feet, down the sideline and out of bounds inside the Jet 45-yard line. Vinny Testaverde will wish he had that one back. 3rd consecutive game, Vinny Testaverde has thrown a pair of interceptions. Gannon still has the ball. Gonna go down deep and nobody there on the left side. And there's an official coming up the field holding his hands out and asking what's going on. Let's go back to interception.
Interception. Charles Woodson forces Testaverde away from the line of scrimmage. He's fallen away, throws it. Marquez Pope all over. The receiver makes the interception. Look at Vinny. You can see that Testaverde falling away. Hard to get anything on the football.
Marquez Pope makes his first interception of the season, and meanwhile, they have dropped the flag on Rich Gannon, and they were going to call it intentional grounding.
Well, it is intentional grounding. Nobody down the field. He just threw to an open spot on the inside the tackles first by Rich Gannon, so he wasn't outside where he could throw it anywhere, and no receiver even in sight where he threw it.
We in the lineup now as the Raiders look at 2nd and 20. Gannon throws out here this side, complete to the tight end Roland Williams, and Williams knocked out of bounds just in Jet territory at about the 49-yard line.
Well, we know what this game means, of course, for both teams. It's so important. The Raiders looking for the 2nd seed, the Jets just wanting to get in the playoffs. And what do you say so far, Greg? It's been exciting, but you can't go, wow, what a well-played game, because it is like, I got it, no, you take it. That's what it's happened so far for both teams.
And when that happens, you have to wonder whether a coach really knows what he has going into the postseason.
Well, you worry about that next week. Just get in. You always think you can fix the mistakes that you have week to week.
3rd and 17. Gannon throws far side, and that's complete to Williams. Williams wrestled down at the 38-yard line, well short of a first down.
See, John Gruden is going, I'd feel a lot better if my kicker was here kicking for us today, because the kicking game has hurt him.
And there will be no field goal attempt here. Shane Leckler will come on to punt it away.
Oh, not even a question. Sebastian Janikowski, you might think of it, but not with Brad Deloiso.
Leckler, line drive kick, aiming for the corner. It said it finds the end zone, and the Jets will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. Hey, guess what? Thursday on Survivor. This is it, the final episode. Find out who's going to be voted the ultimate survivor in the dramatic 2-hour finale. And then you
don't know whether to go for the long field goal. You're close. The offense wants to go for it, so you punt it. You want to play field position, and he just booms it into the end zone, and the whole team just turned around and walked away once the ball landed in the end zone. Another good opportunity lost for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, special teams in a bit of a quandary for John Gruden right now. Minute 38 to play in the 3rd quarter. Testaverde and the Jets from their own 20. On the blitz, quick pass, complete to Corbett. Corbett across the 30 to 32 and a first down.
Well, good job by the New York Jets just protecting the quarterback. Look at the blitzers coming up, trying to get in the Vinny Testaverde and Wayne Corbett. Knows the situation, does a good job, protect the football, and pick up the first down.
Line of scrimmage at 32, 65 seconds to play here in Curtis Martin running room up the middle across the 35 to the 37. Remember, Curtis Martin is in a battle with Priest Holmes of the Kansas City Chiefs, and updating those numbers. Curtis Martin with 1505. Priest Holmes has 1,503 yards as both continue to play their respective games and battle it out for the NFL rushing titles.
Well, the New York Jets, Curtis Martin said, I want to be the leading rusher in the National Football League back in training camp. And the offensive line of the Jets, you know, it fired them up to hear that, and they want to get it done for Curtis Martin.
Kevin Mawai said, we loved when he said that to us. The pitch for Martin, trying the left side, cuts it back to about the 39.
Now, the New York Jets have been bringing in a tackle, Kareem McKenzie, number 67, in place of the tight end, just to give him another big blocker up in front.
With that, time runs down here in the third quarter. And the teams will exchange and reveal. That's the end of the third. The Jets 21, the Raiders 19. We'll come back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. As we start the fourth quarter. You like that, don't you?
That's how I felt when I woke up this morning. It was a rough night. John Ritchie.
Speaking of rough night.
Yeah, his helmet just so tight on his head, and it does that. He said he's done it. It's done it to him his whole life since he's been playing football.
Last time the Jets had third and short, Lamont Jordan went 46 yards for a touchdown. Penalty markers fly here.
On the left side of the offensive line of the New York Jets.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 69, offense.
That's Jason Fabini. It is amazing how both these teams have alternately come up with big plays and then shot themselves in the foot at critical moments as well.
Well, the Jets, the least penalized football team in the league, and Greg, both teams have been making mistakes of late. That's why they're in the position they are today. And now we're starting to feel, and we will, the tension that's involved about the outcome of the game.
3rd and 7. Testaverde down the sideline. Trebek's got it out of bounds, just shy of the 40-yard line, and it's a first down.
Boy, how good was that throw by Vinny Testaverde? You know, sit at home, you're a Jet fan, and I know what you're thinking. Some of the interceptions, but believe me, there's only a handful of guys that can stand there and flick it out like he did this time to Wayne Corbett, and a perfect throw over Charles Woodson's head. Another good catch by Wayne Corbett, using his hands and getting both feet down.
Charles Woodson, the Pro Bowl cornerback for the 4th time in 4 seasons. First down, Jets at the Oakland 41. Curtis Martin, left side, almost broke free. He's down at the 37-yard line. Let's check in on Buffalo and Miami with Jim Nance. Jim.
Again, a Miami win gives them a home game next week in the wild card round. Fiedler to McKnight for the touchdown, and the 20-7 lead. They're on to the fourth quarter at Miami. Meanwhile, 10 unanswered for the Chiefs. Peterson kicks the field goal for Kansas City. Third quarter still up in Seattle. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, boy, that Miami team is another one. How do you tell from one week to another which team is going to show up? 2nd and 6 for the Jets. Out here in the flat to Martin. Martin cuts back and was hit by Greg Biekert, and he's down at the 36-yard line, a gain of a yard, and the Jets are looking at 3rd and 5.
Boy, the last couple we've seen the Raiders play on defense. Greg Biekert always seems to be in position to make those prototype tackles. Squares up on Curtis Martin, doesn't let him fake him out, get inside, and does a good job of keeping the Jets offense in a tough 3rd down situation.
He has been the Raiders team leader in tackles each of the last 3 seasons. Plays the position admirably.
And
5 wide
every
receivers.
down too, Greg, sorry.
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 5. Testaverde over the middle. Trebek pulls it down inside the 30 for first down.
What a job by Wayne Corbett. Greg Biekert looks him up as he goes inside. He's covered. He knows it. Testaverde knows it. Watch to the right of the screen. Beakert's got a little fake, then takes off. And boy, nice job of ducking before William Thomas comes in. This is a design play against a zone defense, and that takes a lot of repetitions and a lot of trust by your quarterback to throw it right.
Martin hit head on by Elijah Alexander. He lost 5 on the play.
A blitz by Elijah Alexander. The Raiders trying to keep the Jets out of field goal position. The outside, unblocked.
Alexander, former Tampa Bay Buck, Denver Bronco, Indianapolis Colt, now in his second season here in Oakland. Martin, left side, inside the 30, loose football. Raiders say they have it.
No, it's dead.
And they do. Third Jet turnover of the day. Rod Coleman came up with it, and the Jet drive stalls inside the 35. They're talking to Curtis Martin, and by those numbers, you'd have to say, Phil, he just doesn't fumble the football. But the Raiders take over, first down at their own 29-yard line. 11:32 on the clock. And here's Charlie Garner. John Abraham coming down the line to make the initial hit. Let's go back to the fumble.
Curtis Martin looks like he has the ball protected pretty well. Draw play by the Jets. They run him very well. Eric Allen just sticks his hand in there, his left hand, and pushes it out the back. Watch it. There it comes in.
Rod Coleman falls on the loose football. Coleman with a sack and a fumble recovery, starting in place of Darrell Russell today. 2nd and 9. Gannon throws far side, incomplete, was hit as he was getting rid of it by John Abraham.
John Abraham, now he usually comes from the backside of the quarterback, and now the Jets are moving him around, switching him. This time he comes from Rich Gannon's right side. Him and Sean Ellis on the same side. Frank Middleton doesn't even get a hand on him. He is fast, he's quick, and just, he has it. He's one of those guys that just has a special talent to rush the quarterback.
On his way to his first Pro Bowl. 3rd and 9. Penalty markers fly. Appears that the Jets jumped. Gannon is on the run and is going to take it across the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
This is the 5th time I've done a Raider game this year, and this is the first time that I've seen Rich Gannon go back and not have consistent pass protection in a football game.
You know, you say that like you did them alone.
Well, okay, you. I'm sorry, Greg. Well, your get hurt easy.
Offside, defensive end, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Let me rephrase it. It's been a special privilege to work with Greg Gumbel for the 5th time on a Raiders game, but no. It has. But the one thing, Greg, we always talk about, the Raiders, they protect Rich Gannon as well as any team in the league. And sometimes he gets sacks. It's just because he's moving, trying to find an extra second to throw the football down the field.
3rd and 4 now. Gannon gets rid of it. That's complete across the 40 and a first down to Tim Brown.
Mo, it's number 57, comes on a blitz and almost gets to Rich Gannon. Here he comes, waits for the hole to develop, gets inside, not quick enough, and Tim Brown going across the field. You could see that time Aaron Glenn is looking for his own players, and just that little bit of look is enough to let Tim Brown get open for the first down.
The Raiders now from their own 43.
Every time he has checked today, it's been a run.
Another one, Garner dips inside to the 45 and wrestled down, and a penalty marker flies. And Aaron Glenn, it appears, got part of the face mask.
Just a question, is it 5-15?
That's what Bill Levy said, if you can read his lips. Is it 5 or 15?
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 31, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It's the big one, 15.
It is 31, Aaron Glenn. Here he comes up. That wasn't a good shot. Oh, there it is. You can see his hand go in there. Doesn't hang on long, but it probably looked like he did because his hand slipped off the face mask and went to the shoulder pad.
So now the Raiders all the way to the Jets' 37-yard line. Garner, right side, shakes a tackle. Inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Victor Green with the stop. Let's go back to New York and Jim.
All right, Seattle running back Sean Alexander was taken to the locker room in the first half, had an ankle x-rayed. Now he returns. He takes it 44 yards for the touchdown and the 21-10 lead as they start the fourth quarter at Seattle. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, thank you. 8:55 and counting here in Oakland.
Now I'm getting a little jealous. Jim's talking to you more today than I am.
Gannon pulls it down, now throws, complete to Brown inside the 25-yard line, and a first down. 8-yard pickup on the play. First down, Oakland.
I know one thing, and I know John Gruden and Rich Gannon are going, hey, Coach, let's get it in the end zone. I don't think they want to leave it up to a kicker they just signed, Brad Delawiso. The kicking game has struggled for the Raiders, so you call plays that you really think are going to give you the best chance to score now.
Tyrone Wheatley has come on. He is the deep man in the I formation behind Gannon. And Wheatley gets the call, left side, and pulls his way to the 20-yard line. And you know somewhere in the East, for one of the very, very few times the New England Patriots are cheering for the New York Jets.
That's right, they are. Let me express it a different way. The strategy of the play calls of the Raiders should change because of what has happened in the kicking game. Of course they're going to call plays to try to score. That's always the objective.
Yeah. Coming up on 7.5 to play here in the fourth. Wheatley gets stuck for a loss. Mo Lewis and Marvin Jones came charging in for a 2-yard loss, and it'll be 3rd and 8.
And you know what? If I notice that every time Rich Gannon is checking it's a run, you know the Jets defense has figured it out by now. Because we heard it from John Gruden the other day. He says defense and defensive players have gotten so good and so smart that you constantly have to try to do things to confuse them because they see 2 running backs in the backfield, they're thinking run, and all the checks are letting them know it's going to be a run.
You saw the Raiders' success rate on 3rd down. Gannon steps up, throws. That's completed. What a hit by number 57, Mo Lewis, on Randy Jordan.
Well, you're going to say, you look at things and you don't know why you throw it short. John Abraham makes Rich Gannon throw it short. Watch Jeremy Brigham go across through the defense. Probably going to be a touchdown, except John Abraham makes Gannon come up, makes him throw it short. They're kicking a field goal instead of kicking an extra point.
Delawiso from 37 yards out. Long enough and straight enough. 6:05 to play. Raiders in the lead, 22-21. Raiders lead it by 1. That Oakland drive took almost 5.5 minutes off the clock.
Let's watch the kickoff of Brad Delawiso. Does he try to kick it deep or does he squib kick it again?
Line drive. Chad Morton to the 20. Out to the 29-yard line.
Well, you know why they pay pass rushers so much in the National Football League? Because they keep offenses from scoring points.
Herman Edwards is very familiar with tight finishes this season, especially the last 4 or 5 games. On 1st down, Testaverde throws, And that's complete across the 45-yard line to Lavernius Coles for a first down, and that was a real important first down play.
It's always so hard to get it going, get that first down. Eric Allen way off of Lavernius Coles, and in this league, you give speedy, talented receivers a cushion like that, they are going to make a move and get open, especially when you protect a quarterback who can throw it like Vinny Testaverde.
4 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown for Coles. First down out to the 46-yard line. Curtis Martin, right side, out to the 49. Greg Biekert makes a stop after a 2-yard gain. Let's go down to Armin.
Greg, one of the things that Herman Edwards told us yesterday, he's still been trying to figure out what kind of football team I have. He said, but I have been searching for some vocal leaders. By their sheer force of will not let their team lose. I was looking for that vocaling on the sideline, that vocal encouragement. I did not see it from the Jets offense while the Raiders were scoring, but this is where the rubber meets the road. Maybe they don't have to talk about it. Maybe they just got to do it.
Yeah, indeed. Coach Edwards said, I felt bad for the players last week. They were right there and didn't get it done, and they're right there again today. Deep drop. Testaverde dropped the football, and he goes down at the 41-yard line. Junior Ioane brought him down, and Tony Bryant forced.
Tony Bryant knocks it out of his hands. The Raiders run a trick inside with a defensive lineman cross, and it gets Curtis Martin on Tony Bryant. Curtis Martin has no chance of keeping him out or keeping him away from Vinny Testaverde.
Coming up on 4 minutes to play. 3rd and a long 16 for the Jets. Testaverde goes down again at the 35. Reagan Upshaw.
Reagan Upshaw. His best trait, he admits it. I like to rush the quarterback. Number 91 makes contact with Jason Fabini. Fabini cannot get his hands on him, and he just runs around him. Both of the quarterbacks today have been under more pressure than either one has probably seen in a long time.
Tim Brown is deep for the kick from Tupa. And it takes one bounce back to the 40-yard line, and now down at the 39. 3:12, and a penalty marker is down on the far side. Conversation by Bill Levy and his officials.
Holding against the Raiders was the preliminary call.
If so, it would give the Jets a much-needed boost in field position.
Holding, number 26 receiving team. During the kick, 10-yard penalty enforced from the dead ball spot. First down.
The penalty is on the Florida State rookie Derek Gibson, and we'll take a break and come back.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by the United States Army, an army of one, and by new Pepsi Twist. Pepsi and Diet Pepsi with a twist of lemon.
There are several categories that the Jets have been absolutely terrific in this season. The best in the NFL in turnover ratio. They're a -3 today. Fewest sacks allowed. They've allowed 3 today. Tied for the most takeaways. They have none. And the fewest penalties in the league. They've been hit with 7 today. And yet they're still in this game at 22-21. This is Tyrone Wheatley straight ahead. What's happening with Buffalo and Miami? Let's go to Jim Nantz in New York. Jim.
It's all but over at Miami, and the Dolphins are going to lock up the number 4 seed in the AFC playoffs. Look at Fiedler here, out of the pocket, taking it 18 yards to the end zone. 27-7 Miami possession with 4.5 minutes to play. Let's go back to Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim. So Miami going to host a playoff game next week. The New York Jets, unless they mount a rally here, with Seattle winning 21-10 against Kansas City, are in serious playoff trouble.
You know, Greg, you showed that graphic of all the things that have gone bad for the New York Jets today. And that's because the Raider defense has made them have these bad plays. And the same can kind of be said for the Jets defense. They have forced the Raiders into some tough situations. And even though both sides, 17th ranked and 18th ranked with their defenses, most of that damage was done early in the year. As of late, they have both played well.
Second and 7, a pass to the far side, and that is complete to Tim Brown out across the 35-yard line. And we remind you, tonight on 60 Minutes, while security experts are reasonably certain they can protect the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City from terror attack, they tell 60 Minutes that they're not too sure they can say the same about Athens when the Summer Olympics are held there 2.5 years from now. That's 60 Minutes tonight.
This could be the ball game. 3rd and 3. The New York Jets with only one timeout.
Jordan and Ritchie in the backfield. Gannon will throw for it. Wide open. Incomplete. Roland Williams was wide open and Gannon missed him.
Rich Gannon trying to make sure that he gets it over the defenders. Just being too careful with the football. Jets playing run all the way. Nobody covers Roland Williams down the field. Nobody. No linebacker, no safety. It's just going to be a foot race to the end zone.
Keep that in mind as Leckler prepares to kick it away.
And the clock stopped.
Santana Moss averaging 19 yards a punt return today. Going to take this one on the run to 25. Dodges a tackler and across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. That's an 11-yard return.
What a turn of events. Not only do you get the football back, the clock has stopped, you save your timeout, and you got good field position.
And the Jets will get another timeout coming up at the 2-minute warning.
And you only need a field goal.
You see the Jets having trailed in 10 of 16 games in the fourth quarter, and they've won 4 of them. The Jets season on the line right here. Testaverde down the sideline, incomplete. And Kevin Swain turned it up short.
Well, Kevin Swain, number 82. See if Charles Woodson holds him. Yeah, I think.
And that's certainly past the 5-yard mark down the field.
Wayne Corbett just came back in the game. He has been out for a few plays. I don't know what was wrong with him.
2nd and 10. Testaverde gets rid of it. Richie Anderson has it and falls forward across the 35-yard line, and we come to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in Oakland. The Jets trail by 1. We'll be back. Sides here in Oakland, they have played the game that way. A seesaw battle, numerous lead changes, big plays on both sides of the ball. It's a 1-point game with 2 minutes to play. The Raiders after a first-round bye, the Jets after a postseason berth. It's 3rd and 10. Testaverde on the move, throws. That's complete to Kevin Swain, midfield, and a first down.
It's the first time the Jets have run that play and got protection for Vinny Testaverde.
Those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. This game between the Jets and the Raiders. Greg Gumbel with Phil Simms and Armin Kutsayan. The Raiders lead at 22-21. 60 Minutes will be seen immediately following this game, except on the West Coast.
Remember, Greg, the last time they did that sprint out pass, Testaverde threw the interception to Marquez Pope.
Testaverde throws far side of the field, and that's complete and out of bounds to Lavernius Coles.
A throw all the way across the field to the sideline, and Vinny Testaverde going to his best matchup. His best receiver, Lavernius Coles, against Eric Allen, who will play off the receiver and give you a chance to break it out.
Coles gets the first down and out of bounds to stop the clock.
You can see the space that Eric Allen gives. Testaverde with a good throw and perfect timing.
Jets at the Oakland 39. John Hall hoping it comes down to a field goal. Testaverde throws. That one looked like it was tipped as it just left Testaverde's hand. It's incomplete. Derek Gibson might have gotten a piece of that.
Yeah, I always said the key to being a good blitzer or a good blitzing team, you must time it perfectly with the snap of the football, and Gibson did it, caught the Jets off guard. And John Hall, Greg, does have a strong leg, so he can get 55-yarders are absolutely in his range.
Jets have one timeout remaining. Testaverde throws this side, and that's complete. He's down at the 35-yard line. Clock continues to move. A pickup of 4. And the Jets are looking at a 3rd and 6.
I didn't see who called timeout. Should be the Raiders.
So the Raiders stop the clock with 68 seconds left.
Well, they have to. The Raiders got to protect it just in case the Jets get the field goal to give themselves a little bit of time to come back if they have to.
Herman Edwards, we go back to what he was talking about yesterday, and he said, you asked him what he's most proud of this year, and he said he was proud of the way he just let everything else go by and he maintained his focus. And there's a lot to take into consideration when you're coaching in New York City.
Couple things. The job entailed more than he thought, which is always the case with a young coach. But he says, believe me when I say this. And he looked at this, and he's a great talker and convinces. He says, I have learned a lot, and I will be a much better football coach next year. And when he talked about the team, he thinks the playoffs are so important because he wants to validate what they did all year long, and you step forward the following year because you make the playoffs this year.
You saw a short while ago, John Hall's career long is 55. His long field goal this season is 51. Third and 6. Testaverde throws over the middle, incomplete, and almost intercepted by William Thomas.
Boy, the pressure, the size of the Raiders line has caused so many problems for the Jets up front today in the passing game. Look at it. Pressure. Couldn't see who knocked it down. William Thomas, number 59, is coming over to get in the way of the throw.
Here is John Hall to line up what appears to be a 53-yard field goal attempt. The Jets looking for a way into the postseason. Low snap. The kick is away. It is good. Is deep. Hall gets a foot into this one. Kirby is going to kneel down in the end zone. Raiders have one timeout remaining. Gannon steps up, throws this side, incomplete, threw it to the other side of Charlie Garner.
The way they do things, Rich Gannon thought that John Abraham was close to him, made the throw go off target.
Gannon pulled down, he gets rid of it, complete to Garner, and Garner is wrestled down short of the 20-yard line by 42 seconds to play. The Raiders are out of timeouts. Gannon over the middle. Jerry Rice lost the football, that's incomplete. I'm sure they can say the same about Athens. 60 minutes tonight. Gannon escapes one blitzer, throws, it's tipped incomplete, and the ball goes over to the Jets.
John Abraham one more time pressuring the quarterback. What a day for John Abraham rushing.
Despite 3 turnovers and 7 penalties. We welcome those of you who are just joining us with time winding down here in regulation. The New York Jets with a 24-22 lead thanks to John Hall's 53-yard field goal.